go back and do that and get that educated.
Okay. The point being made is that somehow the court has passed these costs, the time, and therefore the county is paying the costs,
Substantially.
substantially cost. Okay. That was the issue. Good. Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner?
Again, under the attorney's budget, you see the IT, information technology.
Yeah?
We're negotiating a contract with Cybertron, and that hasn't, that contract is up in March, so we'll be working on that in January. He has presented us a proposal, we don't like it, so we're gonna be negotiating with him. And it's negotiating both with the sheriff's department. The whole county complex will be under this contract. Prior to this time, it was just everything else but the sheriff's department. Captain Myers was handling the sheriff's department. He has since gone, and so we're looking at Cybertron taking the whole complex. Hopefully it'd end up being cheaper. That's what we're looking at.
Register of Deeds is not in
That's correct. Registry of Deeds is not included in this contract for IT.
So our IT is going towards Cybertron and hopefully everything but Registry of Deeds.
Right.
Okay.
If you look at Registry of Deeds, it's less, it's reduced by 1%.
We did forget victim witness. Go back.
Okay, I'm
Go
sorry.
back to page 6, I'm sorry.
Okay, the victim witness budget was at 1%. As you recall, there's a part-time attorney in there and then a full-time individual. They're getting the same rate at 30 cents per hour increase.
Okay, yes,
Hi.
Representative Babson.
I didn't catch it. Did you say up 1% or down 1%?
It's,
Up 1%.
it's up 1%.
And this is the witness,
Victim witness.
On page 6.
Now, keep it in mind, all these departments that came before us came in with requests higher than what you see here. We tried to get down to that 1% that we had talked about as a guideline from the delegation. So some of these budgets were reduced accordingly.
Okay.
You can hear those when the individual department heads answer your questions. So Registry of Deeds is down 1%. With the Sheriff's Department, you'll see administrative salaries, there's quite a change there of $72,000. Under administrative salaries, I believe there's a lieutenant and a secretary that's not in the union. The sheriff has told us that he is not going to replace the captain or put anybody in that position, so that's on hold. And as I said, the union contracts under salaries for deputies is, I believe, 2.8 or 2.9% increase. It's all figured in based on their union contract. So the sheriff's department, with everything in there, it's an increase of 1.9%.
Okay, Representative Fleck.
Is the movement not to replace the captain due to the fact that you're going to bring that in, the sheriff's department into Cybertron? Is that part of it?
I'm not sure it has anything to do with Cybertron or the IT.
Wait a minute, we can't have two at the same. Go ahead, and then we'll get with Representative Umberger.
I'm not sure that it's due to the Cybertron. This is at the sheriff's discretion as to whether he wants to promote somebody up to that position or not.
So we're not
And he is
losing,
choosing not.
we're not losing a
She's-
position as such, but we won't have somebody at that higher rank or salary. Is that-
Right, right.
Okay, Representative Umberger, you had something to add? No. Okay.
have something to add.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so that we're at the sheriff's department at 1.91% increase.
Under the dispatch, again, the dispatch salary, because they're union, it's up 2.9%.
I'm sorry.
Here it's, my thing says 3%, but it's according to their contract.
Okay, now we have, this is a union contract, but it's
Union
the sheriff.
contract, yeah.
It's the sheriff's and they're included. And so overall, what is the increase in the
The
dispatch?
increase in the dispatch center is 5.5%.
Okay. And we will,
And there's a figure in there of $27,000 for information technology.
mhm,
That's Cybertron.
mhm.
There's a lot of work that takes place in the dispatch center with computers. That's the portion that we're negotiating on. That, and there's $27,000 also in the sheriff's department. So those two, it comes up to, what, $54,000, and we'll negotiate that.
Okay, Representative Babson?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So, Commissioner, the 54% represents
5.
IT for both the sheriff's department and the dispatch.
And dispatch, yep,
So that's.
54,000.
Because didn't the IT people tell us that if it continued at the same rate that Captain Myers was working, it was gonna be 66,000 at some point?
Yes.
I don't
Meeting.
remember.
We haven't, he said he was negotiating on the contract, and so that's what they put in, whether that's what it ends up or not.
That may not stay at that level. Okay, for medical
Madam
rep?
Yes, Representative Babson?
Well, if it's not gonna stay at that level, is this the low figure or the high figure?
This is the high figure.
Okay. Medical referee?
Medical referee, no changes. Actually, it's down a little bit,
$2.
like $2.
We can call that level.
Okay. Administration building is down 5.3%. Our fuel and the administration building is up $9,000.
This is propane.
But there were decreases in other areas.
Okay, and we use,
Under administration, also, medical insurance was taken out. The individual that works in the administration building is going under his wife's policy, so it decreases our cost for medical insurance to zero.
there is an employee going on to wife's policy.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to say another policy, it doesn't matter whether it's wife or not. That's being a little discriminatory.
Okay, so that's down 5.3%, administration building.
Yeah.
Human Services Department, I think we already talked about that. That's $759,704 increase, like a 23.7% increase.
Human services.
Human Services
Anybody in Concord
Department on
could,
page 13.
Adjust that, it would be great, especially if it's adjusted down. Under maintenance, there's a 0% increase. Under sewer system, keep in mind that the sewer system budget is only about $50,000. It's up 13.1%, but the major reason for that is we need to purchase a heater at $6,500. That heater goes into our plant and keeps things from freezing. Right now, I believe, if I'm correct, a maintenance person has to go down once a day and do something, whatever it is. The heater has failed because of rusting and so forth in the system, so it was a $6,500 increase there.
Does that show under new equipment?
It shows under new equipment.
Okay.
What's the percentage again?
13.1.
13.1, but
13?
again,
Yeah.
it's a small budget, so when you
Yes.
increase it large, it looks big.
Yeah. And it's the heater, what's the heater what is the heat used for? To keep the equipment for, yeah, we'll see, go ahead. Tell me what the heater's for.
I go in a little more depth of it, what you'd like. What happened is we had a freeze up because this heater is in our grinding building. When all the sewage runs out of our buildings, it goes to this grinder building first. There, the grinder grinds it all up, sends it out to the plant. There's a heater that needs to keep everything unthawed. That went bad last year, we had a freeze up. $2,000 to $3,000, I have to check the records on parts to get it all back together when pipes froze in that building. We had the electrician come out, hot wire the heater that's in there. There's no guarantees that that hot wire will last. When it fails, it fails. So we're either stuck with replacing the parts when it fails, or replacing the heater so we don't have to replace all those parts and have extreme downtime in the meantime.
So when the grinder freezes up, then that's a bad thing for nursing home and jail and the whole
The
complex.
whole complex.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
okay. All right, thank you for letting me know what that was about. Any other questions on the sewer system? Okay, thank you. Go ahead
Okay,
for
the next
jail.
item then is the jail and house of corrections. There's been several changes in that, and I believe the subcommittee has looked at a lot of them. Administration salaries was down by 41,000. Nursing salaries is up because they would like to have one LPN added to the budget. Under salaries, there are two individuals that the commissioners put in for increasing the number of correctional officers by 2. I will say that the superintendent requested 8 new ones, and also he requested 2 LPNs, and we reduced it back to 1 LPN, and reduced the number of correctional officers from 8 back to 2. And all of the benefits and so forth are all figured in on 2 additional and 1 LPN.
Okay,
You'll see under mental health salary, that's reduced to 0. We had hired, or a person was working for us at 66,000. As Susan Wiley talked about earlier, if you get down to mental health, we've negotiated a contract with Northern Carroll County for 44,000. So that's a savings of roughly $20,000.
Northern County?
Northern Carroll County Mental Health.
Okay, Northern Carroll County Mental Health, okay, thank you. That's a contracted service now, right? That's what we are proposing,
Right.
contracted service, thank you.
Another item was the heating expense. Last year, the subcommittee recommended going to 150,000, which was higher than what was put in the budget. It looks like we're going to overspend that line item. We're projecting 187,000, which is roughly a 24% increase in the heating costs.
How do we heat the jail?
Propane. Propane out of our main storage tank.
Okay,
Madam Chair?
yes, Representative McConkey.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Have the commissioners looked at a purchasing practice on that we talked about in adding, that I had spoken of in adding another tank or a contract with someone else?